Hi, it's Gold Morning Dawn. It is Tuesday, February 9th, 2016, and it is 1:13 a.m. I've already written my words. Well, not already. I wrote them for yesterday. I kept writing after midnight, so I copied and pasted into my journal, online journal, what I'd been writing from 750words.com. Then I continued to a conclusion. So, I got over 1,000 words or so. I just cut it too close. But it's good to write and to know that something was there to write about. I made a voice post yesterday inspired after watching a documentary, although I ranted and rambled about various tangents to do with food and eating disorders and decisions about making a choice to choose a particular food. I guess some people want to call it a lifestyle, but I'm calling it a choice. So I talked about that journey on a thing that was called Insta Radio. I think it's still called Insta Radio and Roar, like it's called Roar on the app. But the links it uses, I think, are still Insta Radio, but it's Get Roar, RAUR on Twitter. I don't know. I've posted to my Twitter and my journal. I don't want to re-listen. The only thing that bugs me about this is that I don't have these for posterity. I mean, I was thinking about it. Well, I mentioned it briefly in my journal entry, my online journal entry, about deciding where and what platform I would use to express myself, depending on what it was I wanted to talk about, or just what would be most effective for me to express myself. Not always, but in that particular moment. I mean, sorry, my lips are gummy. For instance, there have been some topics that I just need to vent about, so I used the Get Roar, the Insta Radio thing. It's like podcasting, basically, like a live broadcast. And I found that voice posts help me a lot because I'm not worrying about my appearance, which is a problem for me, and definitely, and that traffic's loud, and it inhibits me when I'm blogging, which sucks because it shouldn't matter. I certainly am not basing who I watch based on their appearance entirely. I mean, somewhat, I guess we all do, but that wouldn't stop me if I wanted to listen to what people had to say, or I connected to their subject matter. But for me, it's still a barrier in making vlogs, and especially as I get older, which sucks, because I finally know a little bit more about what I'm talking about from time to time. Not always, but you would think that I would finally fully embrace this. But I'm struggling a bit right now with, I guess this is a personal vlog. I'm struggling a bit with, well, my weight and health, because of, I was supposed to have lost weight about a year ago or so, longer than that, so that I could get a hysterectomy. I didn't need to lose much, about 10 pounds, which is nothing for me. But instead I seem to have done quite the opposite. because unfortunately the hormones of the temporary fix, the IUD, seem to have affected me quite so. I've got quite a few of the negative side effects that tell you if you're having these, don't be on this, but I needed to be for blood transfusion reasons. I didn't need any more of those. So I've kind of had that as a barrier. I'm using the word barrier again. Obstacle? Let's go with obstacle. But it's an excuse. I mean, I have to admit to some of the junk food I've definitely eaten, especially in January. So cutting all that out will hopefully, definitely, inevitably make a difference. But there's that, and then there's the back issue, which the surgeon I'm seeing in April for the initial consultation, after being redirected from my doctor because of the MRI results, would show that I need help. And we discussed it, and I certainly don't want to have, I don't know how long I'll live, but none of us do, but if I am to live a length of time, it probably would be better to get the surgery done. As of now, I'm not on any pain except over the counter because I'm trying to just live with it. But it's been difficult, and I think that has also affected my soothing technique, which is not good, which has been good. But anyway, I've rattled on about that crap, so really, another update of how I've been doing. It was a weird night. Honestly, I'm doing okay. I'm writing again. I'm typing my 750 words again on the 750 word site and putting it on my online journal. I mean, writing every day, even when I find it difficult to find something to say, or I find it all boring because not boring, but I just know I'm not writing anything interesting. Just doing it helps me. It doesn't take long before I start feeling more like myself, and things start to go better when I'm writing. It's just how it is. I've written in my paper journal every single day for the year so far. It's only early February, so that's not a huge accomplishment, but I mean, that's a start again. Journaling is good, paper journaling, and I'm getting back into these various means of expression. Reading, you can see books behind me on some of the shelves I have. I am behind in my reading goals. I don't have stringent reading goals like this many books per week, and I'm not competing with anyone in particular, but for a number of years I've tried to get 50 books a year read. Poetry, fiction, nonfiction, diaries and letters, whatever. But yeah, I've definitely not done as much there. I'm trying to get into a few books at the moment. Starting to read a book on writing, about writing and writers and the writing life. That's not the title at all, but it's by Margaret Atwood. It's written in the early 2000s. So, I didn't realize it was that old. It's only about a decade or so, but when I was looking at where it was listing her books written, her recent books, I was like, she said far many more than that, so it's based on lectures, and I'm just curious, who better to share their insight than other writers, especially diverse ones who've done poetry and dystopian literature and just nonfiction and just great work. So I want to talk about journaling a little bit because I know that is what a lot of people now subscribe to my channel are interested in. And I keep thinking about it. I keep thinking about sharing some of my old journal entries from my paper journals, which, it's right that shelf there. I don't know what I'm going to do soon because that shelf isn't big enough soon. I guess I could stack all of them instead of just the little ones, but I don't know. I'd rather they be all lined up since I can. Maybe I'll just have to do some more rearranging. But the difficult thing is that I'm a text journal, number one, so as far as the aesthetics go, I'm clearly not one for aesthetics. Being mostly text journaler means that you can't really see, like, there's not a lot of pretty stuff in it. And also, I've tended to journal either in a very boring way because I'm just, I don't know, I might be in a depressed, rambling, just writing, moving through the motion state of trying to keep myself going, because writing has certainly saved me more than once. Or I'm sharing everything during different parts of my life, and it's not pretty. It's very raw and very interesting. If I'd blogged it or actually shared it, there'd be an audience, but I have to consider the consequences of sharing some things. If I had a larger YouTube subscriber base where I felt, I don't know if once you hit a certain number, it just feels like you're safer to be more open. But I also know many that don't feel it, like you have to censor more of your life. I don't know. I just know that right now it's not worth it. I know that sounds very weird. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. Like, I have various ideas of what I want to do, because there's standards of what people share in the journaling community, but I have some other ideas as well. I'm just trying to figure it out. Trying to figure it out. I also have, well, if I mention it, somebody might go and post them before I get to. But I have some other ideas of paper-related things to share. So, yeah, maybe I just gave it away by saying that. Not that it should matter. I mean, we should all inspire each other, but still, it'd be nice if I'm good at coming up with ideas. I should, share those ideas. Produce those ideas and then let people make better stuff from it, instead of just talking about it, not doing it, and then watching other people just do it and do great with it and being like, oh, I thought about that, I didn't do it. On a community, a question was asked, are you a different person when you vlog? Like, when you turn on the camera, are you different? And I think there was some comparisons to the high energy YouTubers that clearly are putting on a positive or a very energetic persona, charismatic, or just very out there. And then I don't know if it was mentioned, but there's also the people that vlog their daily lives that show a lot of highlights or show a lot of how great their life is, or maybe not all of the great, but there's, I don't know what I just did to this window, but I wish I hadn't, so I'm trying to, like, undo what I did. Oh no, didn't want to do that either. Anyway, then there's people who, the daily vloggers, or people who do highlights of their day, week, month, year, whatever. There's the way that appears. Now, I'm a fan of vlogging. I love creative and inspirational people, but I also love raw vloggers, people who just turn on the camera and talk. I love people who don't even show themselves and they're showing, like, what they're talking about, blogs, or, journals or books, or I'm really into various communities that are quite diverse in their content and their creativity and their personal, the way they share themselves personally, the lines that they have drawn as far as regarding what they share of themselves, as far as that they're being authentic, or you feel that they are, but they're not, telling their whole life story or anything like that. I mean, they're keeping a respectful distance so that they can produce the type of videos or make or vlog the type of videos they want to make. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think especially now when for work or life in general, when your social media presence, your videos, your accounts, everything you do can be used against you, or in decision makings that directly affect your life or others, that it's actually quite smart to create or have some distance, or create a persona, or not create a persona, but just not share everything, or maybe be a bit more put together. But I also love watching people that aren't. I've been on YouTube a very long time, so I remember the early. I've watched it before I joined it, so I remember the early days, and I remember. But I don't think that community is necessarily gone. If anything, there are a lot of different pockets of communities that have developed over the years, and I think that the strength in many of them are people being who they are. Now, there is some things people follow, some I guess some people are drawn to certain aesthetic appeals, certain looks, certain personalities do get more attention and have a lot more people who want to view them. I mean, YouTube is now, for many people, what they would watch over TV any day. And TV knows this. I mean, TV is definitely it has come to YouTube. I mean, I don't know, I love car karaoke with James Corden, and Jimmy Fallon videos, lip sync battles. There's so many different things from mainstream that is on YouTube, and I know it was the corporation stuff, blah blah blah, coming into YouTube, but some of it's very enjoyable content, and now that's still quite different than the vloggers. There are people vlogging, still making vlogs, like talking to the camera, sitting on their beds, sitting in their rooms, turning on the webcam like I've just done, but they have a bit more style. They've cut out their I know people are annoyed somewhat by jump cuts that are more purist to the vlog form, but it can be annoying to listen to somebody like me. And it's much more entertaining with somebody who seems to be on the ball with what they're saying and on topic and more concise and articulate. And if they look great and they don't have just a jumbled mess in the background like what I have, that can be appealing. We can't deny that we are drawn to certain things. But everybody has their own things that they like. I like so much that's so varied that I'm not too harsh or hard on people who have either chosen to be more brand like, and I still love old school vlogs which are still made today that aren't even part of outside communities but are on YouTube, and they have small amount of followers or large amount of followers. People are still turning on the cameras. People are still discovering this or finally able to access the equipment. Like when I used to watch it years ago, before I didn't have a camera or a webcam I couldn't vlog during those formative years, which is too bad. But do I act different? Well, no and yes. No, in that I'm never saying or doing or talking about things that aren't me or what I think or at the time. I don't know. I'm not going to hold myself to things I say, a decade from now or whatever, or a decade ago. But I'm always myself. How am I not myself? That's from I Heart Acapes. But I'm always me. Now, I think the question is, in real life, people tend to present various sides to themselves depending on a situation, whether it's a social situation, work, family, certain family functions, at home on your own versus with I don't know. People alter themselves even around certain groups of people. They just do. I mean, it's a human thing to adapt to certain situations. Now, my lips are really bad. I'm sorry about that. So, would it be so strange that we do that with vlogging? When you turn on the camera, well, I think there's also the amount of how comfortable are you in your skin. Like, I'm not. So if somebody just turned on a camera on me, I'm gonna be a little freaked out because I don't have control over the angle or the view, and I might feel extremely freaked out because that's not too comfortable for me. But at the same time, if I turn on the camera and I know I'm vlogging, I am being me. Every single boring balcony view of saying how pretty the frickin' sky is, or the snow on the dusty rooftops, that's me being boring. I mean, and impassioned long rants is me. And the vlogs where I would vlog every single day and use snippets of my day, that was me. Being happy or excited, I'm glad I've got times where I've been happy on video, and times when I lived elsewhere or when I've traveled. Rarely. I mostly photographed when I traveled. I didn't really vlog, which is too bad because that would have been awesome. But I'd like to say that no, I'm always me. Censorship, though, however, I have to admit, I do censor myself. I've had this bad bit of lip the whole video. well, there you go, I'm being me. You know when your lips are drying? My lips are drying. I need to use chapstick. Where's the chapstick? That's a YouTube reference. Okay, so, I've censored myself on my online journal and in various other ways for a number of years. Off and on, like, I'll break through and not, I'll just get out a lot of stuff. But as I've gotten older, I've definitely censored myself. I've had to because of various reasons. I think this has definitely affected my creative output, but at the same time, I think we should be much more aware now of how everything, we should know by now that everything we're putting out there on the internet is, whether you think it's private or not, it's not. It's on the internet. So all of this, my dry lip bit of hanging down, my bad teeth, my double chin, my messy bookshelves, my breathing in like that, all that's on the internet once I put it up. And if there are people who, whether they want to make a living out of it or not, would choose to edit out that stuff or make sure they're more presentable or have a upbeat voice or a higher energy when they are going to make a particular vlog, so that perhaps they will be listened to a bit better or more longer than someone like me going on all monotone. That's smart of them. I could be my most authentic self, but I think all of us each have, like I said, it depends a lot on what's going on, how we're feeling, so I think generally many of us who have been vlogging a long time or making videos, we are being ourselves. We're just, as I said, choosing what to share, what not to. Does it say a lot about what we do share or not share? I guess it does, but honestly, I don't think I'm not being myself when I choose to do this. Just because I might be much more anxious in real life or louder, more feisty or sweary, or not be this calm 100% of the time, doesn't mean I'm not being real right now. This is just me getting to be, chill, which is nice. So I don't think it's not me being me. I just think it's another aspect. Just like I feel like those who share creatively, if you've made a creative piece of work, or you've combined clips into an artistic kind of way, that it's clearly not you, but it is you. It's part of you. It's just like you can't just take one post that I've written and decide that is me. It is part of who I am. It is me, but it's not the entire story. So I think it takes a combination, viewing the entire work. And that's the interesting thing about what we have going on right now. For instance, I've shared myself for a number of years through photographs, through vlogs and through voice posts and podcasts and audio posts and through blog, like online journaling. I've shared myself in various ways, and all of those create more of a picture, create more of the pieces of who I am than if you just focus on one part. And I think that's great, because humans are a lot more complex than, you could have somebody who is very much themselves, let's say posting a certain type of energy of vlog or very casual vlog, but let's say they're always focusing on certain topics that reflect their status in life, or on the other end, in another way, all their illnesses. One or the other. Somebody's showing all the good stuff, somebody's showing all the struggle. Sort of like some people you see on Facebook. Your opinion of the person sharing all the good stuff might be, you might look up to them, and or you might think, wow, they're pretty cocky or kind of a douchebag or something. Or you might think, I want to be like them, they're a good example. And the other person, you might be like, wow, it's kind of a bummer, but I can relate to what they're going through, or I can't relate, or I'm learning about illness through them, or I'm watching it to see what their struggle is like, or how they overcome their things, blah, blah, blah. You might think down on them because you might think, they could be making some different choices, blah, 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 blah. You might feel sorry for them. But meanwhile, on the other hand, you're not seeing from the first vlogger who's always about their accomplishments and how great they're doing and blah, blah, blah. You're not seeing the behind the scenes work that they might put into attaining those goals, things that they're sacrificing, struggles within their relationships or lack of being able to keep them or have healthy ones, the damage they might be doing to themselves to attain their goals, through things, or some gaps in their self-awareness about what should really be prioritized in their life, or you don't know, who's to judge. And maybe their perspectives about looking down on people because of what they've achieved, they may not quite understand that they had help, and they may not acknowledge there's all this stuff, right? And then with the mentally ill one, perhaps you might just feel sorry for them, or you might look down on them, but you may not see their perseverance. Factors, you won't know the factors that might have got them there. You might not know that they may have had quite a lot at one time, or that they might still have quite a lot and they just don't talk about it, like a lot of good. They may not want to share certain elements that certain things, and you might not still quite ever understand why they are the way they are, because they can't share certain things. You may not see that there's just so much to it, right? If you judge someone just based on either what they have or what they're suffering from or what they're living with, and that's all they're showing, you don't get the whole picture either way. So, and that's fine. It's their choice to put out what they want to. But that's a thing. It's a choice, and it doesn't mean it's not authentic or real. Unless, of course, it's a Lonely Girl 15 thing. Like a completely made up skit or video, or somebody's faking things, and it's completely faking their whole online thing. That's a completely different topic. I mean, that's something that we saw a lot of, where people would, fake things or outright lie. But I think that's a different thing than just choosing how you want to present yourself or what information you want to share about yourself, or whether you want to show your good side or show your bad days as well. Some of us don't mind showing our bad days because we're human beings, and we know there's other human beings who will relate, and or maybe we just don't have the energy to want to or self-esteem or whatever to make our life look all glowy. I mean, my life is actually better than I make it look overall, and in other ways it's not, and it's all from where you're coming from, your life experience, your own perspectives, biases, prejudice. I mean, some people would not at all have any state of reference to understand anything about my interests or my life, or might judge me based on one thing or a few things and still not quite get it. You can't know somebody's story just by looking at them. And that's kind of the intriguing thing about vlogs and other ways that we express ourselves. That's why I love books and all this stuff, and music and everything, because there's so many ways that we can tell our stories and share who we are and connect to other people. And I mean, if anything, do we have more of a problem now because we have more access to some of the people that we once appreciated their art or their work or their music or their talents, or a presence that we felt that they had, and now we see more of their human side, and it's tainted some of how we feel about the stuff that we connected to. That's often happened in music in recent years, and in various people in the public eye. So I mean, if anything, us vloggers or small time people here or whatever, we still have the choice to pick and choose what we're sharing of ourselves, whereas there are people whose lives have been out there and they don't get the chance now as much. They have even less of a chance to form. They can't even and that's happening now to people on YouTube as well, who have gotten so big now that it's such a big medium. I mean, whatever they've shared, and then whatever comes out about their life because they've become so big with their, I don't know, like, I think of someone like Superwoman who's actually from Canada. She had a momentous year, and I just think of how, like, her thing all built on positivity, and I just think of how exhausting that would be to have to live up to, and she's shared in her personal vlogs a bit more of the reality, but not to an extent that I would understand. Not to an extent, I mean, that I would believe that she actually has to deal with, because she's aware that she still has that crossover audience of the people who are watching for the positive unicorn island thing. And I couldn't imagine the pressure of living up to that and not being able to be as human. No, she's human, she's recognized as human, but you're not gonna see her have, I mean, the pressure just, I mean, granted, she's making a lot of money now and doing very well, but I'm just saying, I know you give up a little bit, but I don't know. I don't know that there's benefits to curating your own life, which we've been doing if we've been putting content online, which includes vlogs. But there's the downside because I don't even know, as we're making it, we don't exactly see the whole big picture, and we can't always be aware of we can't control what ultimate decision people make, or whatever of us. Like, I may be known as the picking at my lips girl, woman, old lady, sorry. I can't be called a girl anymore, I'm far too old for that. The dry lips lady, I don't know. This is a interesting time to be online, and slightly terrifying, because we've definitely learned within the past several years that things stick around and come back, and choices and decisions we've made over the years, and things we've created online, videos and whatnot, they've had an effect, and they could possibly still have an effect. That makes me a bit nervous as somebody who's still, who was still growing, like learning and developing who I was. And I was still older than the generation that has grown up only knowing this as their way. I have reached the milestone of over 200 subscribers. I think I can safely say that. Last time I said that, I went back under. But I think I'm like enough above it that I can say I'm 200 subscribers in. And that is pretty awesome. And I know that you guys have joined, a lot of you, because of the journaling. So I probably should make journaling videos. It's still part of my life, but it's not all of it, right? Just like the rest of you guys, I have a life, even if, but yeah, it's still this one, guys. But if you look, here's the exciting part. Okay, so I'm almost there. I'm about 70 pages away from finishing. I liked this one. I like it a lot. Yesterday I wrote... How many pages did I write yesterday? One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Oh. Further updates. I canceled my trip at the end of the month. On my intro vlog for VH, I said that I was going away at the end of the month, but I canceled again. Which, it was my decision, but I feel like bad about it. And because I really want to go, but I'm torn. I'll go another time. And yesterday was a good mail day because I received 2 vinyl in the mail. It would have been better if I'd followed through the one time. It wasn't... I started to order the vinyl before. It's from Matthew Good store, and I had Beautiful Midnight in my basket, along with Hospital Music and Chaotic Neutral, the new one. Hospital Music I picked because it was the first time I got to see him in concert. I really loved that album. And Beautiful Midnight is one of the best Matthew Good band albums. The one that really I remember listening to on cassette in the back of a car in the night, driving through the dark in the country. Well, passenger. I wasn't driving, but you know what I mean. just, and his voice just went through me. So I missed out on the final pressing of Beautiful Midnight because when I finally was like, I'm gonna go back and get some of that vinyl before it goes away, I went back and that was sold out. So I went with Chaotic Neutral and Hospital music while I could. Also got some more buttons. Sometime I gotta share my button collection because it's mega. I've got a lot of buttons. Yeah. So I'll do that. I'll do that sometime because I think it'd be fun. I have a few collections. I've got to start straightening things out and getting rid of some things because, yeah, especially if we're going to move within a few years or so. That's why you should enjoy what you have. I say as I completely have no ability to do that when it comes to most things in my life. Well, I've talked more than long enough. I'm not even sure if I'll keep this because of the lip. Gosh. Winter, right? Am I right?